Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us in the live stream. We've got a special edition of Where Are They Now? As you can see, we got a nice family up here. We got Michele and Kaden Stevenson who are joining us, and we've got Molly McKinney from our Wheelchair and Adaptive Sports program, all talking and catching up on where Kaden and Michele are now with their life. So we started sharing a little bit about Kaden's story back in March of 2023. At Christmas 2022, Kaden wasn't feeling so well and thought it was a common cold and ended up going to the ER, turning out to be a lot worse. He came to Mary Free Bed afterwards after having both of his legs amputated, and Michele can talk a little bit more about that. But Kaden has been a fun kid, had some really fun experiences, and are really excited to hear from them on how they're doing. So Michele and Kaden, do you guys want to just walk me through a little bit about what happened to you guys in Christmas of 2022?
Well, Kaden was on Christmas break. He was a little sick. He got a little sick in my car on that Friday before Christmas and got him washed up. We cuddled for the rest of the day. I was thinking, a little stomach bug, nothing major. The weekend, same thing. He was kind of just laid back, chill, not anything where I would have thought he was super sick. He slept a lot on that Saturday. Sunday on Christmas, he slept in. He tried to play a little bit, but not too much. I thought that was a little off. And then things just kind of took a turn for the worse by the time Monday and Tuesday came around. We ended up going to the ER here locally in Flint, where they told me that Kaden was very sick. I didn't know how sick he was at that point. All I knew is they said he was super sick. So I was thinking he maybe had the flu. We were going to get some antibiotics, go home, and that would be that. Turned into, hey, you're getting admitted. By that following day, he was getting transferred by helicopter to Grand Rapids down to Helen DeVos. And that's when I found out, oh my God, like he's really, really sick.
So they said strep and influenza and turn into toxic shock, right? Is that anything
Yeah.
you've ever heard of like that before?
No, not at all. Like when you think of strep, you think of like strep throat. Um, I never knew that that was something that could then get into like the bloodstream and cause toxic shock to the point where my son's kidney, liver, and heart were in failure. And them telling me it's touch and go, he may not make it. Um, that was crazy to me. And I'm like, how? My son was healthy. He was just running around, laughing, playing. How does he go from that one day to the next where he might die?
I mean, that's got to be so hard for a mom, and then for you guys to have then have made that decision of like to save his life, they had to basically kind of sacrifice his legs, right? And
Yeah.
so that's the biggest kind of like thing that's left behind through all this recovery. His life has been saved, but unfortunately, he lost his legs. How has that been for you and him through that little bit when you had to make that decision?
It's, I would say it has not been easy. You're talking about a kid that was doing karate and learning how to play soccer. Very active kid, still very active, as you can see. Um, very much all boy, and stop it, silly. Um, very much all boy, and then going from that to not having any legs. How do you navigate life at that point? How do you play soccer? Like one of my biggest fears after knowing that he was going to be okay was, how do I explain to my son that soccer is going to be different or karate is going to be different? Because at that point, even though I wanted to stay positive for him, I didn't know how that was going to look or if it was going to be possible, but I wanted to keep him in positive spirit. So it was just, hey, we're going to be able to do all the things that you've been doing. It's just going to look different.
So, Molly, you have to have these conversations with people. Being a wheelchair and adaptive sports coordinator, what is it like talking to people and trying to encourage them that, yeah, you can get back to those activities that you loved? It's just going to look a little different.
So that's actually one of the first times that I met Kaden. They actually visited our office, right? Isn't that when you came in? Do you remember that,
Yeah.
Kaden?
You remember that? Mhm.
Yeah, you came. He came. The people come into our office. We're right down on the first floor. Kind of like a little Nike Town feel down here, so people can come in and feel welcome. And we
Mhm.
have all sorts of equipment, um, and we get to talk to them about all the different opportunities we have to offer after something might happen. After something happens to them, similar to what has happened to Kaden, and we are able to offer like so many opportunities, and we're continuing to grow the program so kids like Kaden can have the opportunity to participate in sports and activities and other things just
Mhm.
like any other kid.
And so you got to start some of this, Caden and Michelle, like in still the hospital. So you had probably rec therapy where you were doing some activities, just trying to bring that fun and sports back into your recovery. What was that like, Michelle, to like in the beginning of rehab and recovery to already start thinking about that those things are possible?
For me as a parent, it was amazing. Um, I don't have anybody in my circle that went or is going through anything that I've been through. So to know and see, here's an avenue, here is a place of hope that we can reach out to, a resource, um, to get him to all of the things that will help him in his future, as far as especially sports that he's very much into. Like Molly was saying, we went downstairs to visit, just I because we had passed by, and I'm like, you know what, I'm taking my son down here because he needs to see this. He needs to see all the different type of wheelchairs and, different things that they had for different sports, just to kind of like lift up his spirits, because those first couple of weeks in rehab were really rough and tough on him. And like, hey, look, they got bikes, they got sleds, all the things that you can do, even though life is about to be different. So just to show him, like, keep him encouraged. Life is going to be okay. You're still going to have fun. And guess what? You're going to get to do some things that even able bodied people aren't going to be able to do. Just trying to do anything to keep his spirits uplifted. So for me, it was very encouraging to see. I know I have people to reach out to, that can kind of help navigate us in the direction that we needed to go to. They start talking to us about wheelchair sports camp. They talk to us about basketball. So, a lot of the things that he's, active in now.
That's awesome. And before we get to some of the activities you had at home, but like right before you were leaving, because you guys are on the center of the state or east side of the state, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So before you guys went back home, you guys were able to go and experience a little bit of a monster jam because monster trucks are a big part of Caden's life. He loves these things.
Oh, yeah.
And tell me, what was this experience like? You got to kind of have your own little VIP experience there, right? Like this was right after you left the hospital.
Mhm. I feel like super happy. I never felt it before. Like look down and never see monsters trucks and never hold a steering wheel.
He was saying he got to, I was just saying he said he got to hold the steering wheel and he never saw that part before.
Mhm. Who were
Mhm.
some of the people there? Were those some of his favorite ones that he got to see and meet?
Are those some of your favorite people?
Yeah. And I keep watching the news over and over of me. I keep watching it. I never stopping.
That's awesome. Yeah, that was such a fun experience, and I was really glad you were able to do that. It was cool to see that happen. And so you guys went home and started your recovery there, doing probably outpatient therapy, and then you're able to come back and come to our wheelchair sports camp. And at that camp, Molly, you can tell us more about it, but the campers come in for a week and they get to try a whole bunch of different sports. What all kind of goes on at that week of camp?
So that week at camp is such a transformation of a week for so many of our kids, especially the younger ones that haven't been there before, because they get the opportunity to be able to connect with their peers and promote like we try to promote the socialization and get exposed to all the adaptive sports that we have to offer, plus a couple other fun things like dodgeball and team handball. So we really just like to give them a full sample of the opportunities that they have as adaptive athletes. It's just really the most magical week. It's you can really see, especially towards the end of the week, the sense of achievement that these kids have. It helps boost their self-esteem and really like get their confidence going. Oh, that's the water fight. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Um,
And Kaden, I mean, you got to shoot the hose here. I'm trying to get to that picture. I mean, that was pretty cool. That the Allendale Fire Department has come out for years to this big event we have at camp, and they have this huge water fight. And this, oh man, the campers and the counselors have a riot, and in this right here too. And Molly, I mean, this also Kaden got a kind of an honor here, right, during the week.
Yeah, he was actually he got nominated from his team leader that he got to be the most improved camper in his group. It's quite an achievement because the start of the week to the end of the week, he just excelled in everything sports. Like every single coach wants him to play in his program in their programs. So I would say that sled hockey is very interested in Kaden and coming and playing, but we know that his love is basketball. So
Yes.
and hopefully we can get him into other things like football. We're going to start this summer. And maybe a little bit of lacrosse.
I mean, look at this picture right here. You got to put that on a sports card. Michele, tell
Absolutely.
me what it's been like having Kaden be on the basketball team. What has that been like? Have you seen like just, more confidence, more athleticism? Like, what's it been like being part of this team and playing?
Definitely has been a confidence builder for him. I try as much as possible not for him to miss any time because I notice the difference when he's around other kids that's like him, have the same obstacles that he has. I don't know. It's crazy the bond that the team has with each other. I know like when he first started, he was kind of held back, he kind of checked everything out. But like once he really got in there and really got to know the rest of the team, he just excelled and just like his confidence just, oh my God, it's undescribable. It makes me so happy. My heart smiles every time I see him out there. Every time he achieves a new goal, whether it's going faster, whether it's blocking, whether it's making a basket, just those little obstacles of things that he didn't think that he could do. Before this, he never played basketball. So not only is he learning how to navigate a sports wheelchair, he's also learning the game of basketball, and doing that and meeting a lot of new friends. Some of them have been at the sports wheelchair camp also with him. So just continuing to build those bonds and those friendships. And I can just see the difference that it makes in him when he's around all of the kids.
Well, this has just been so fun connecting with you guys and hearing how things are going. Before we wrap things up, uh, Michele and Kaden, tell me what's kind of next for you. I mean, you guys know you've been working on prosthetic legs, and you're traveling with the team. What else is in your guys' future?
Oh, more time.
Okay, you go ahead and talk. You tell. Go ahead.
What was exactly?
He said, "What's in your future?
Um,
What's next?"
I feel like it's gonna be soccer and
And what else?
and ice hockey.
And ice hockey.
Mhm.
He said it.
I
So
like it. You heard that right, Molly.
Woo, both sports.
Yeah. So Molly, what's it like, before we wrap up, how has it been having Kaden on the team? And, what do you think that other people who might be going through something similar, what do you think they can take away joining and playing in a wheelchair adaptive sport?
Well, first of all, it's been incredible to see the growth that Kaden has made since when we first met him until right now. I mean, he's traveling with the team this weekend to our conference championship. So, I mean, it's Tuesdays are one of my favorite days of the week just because I get to see that smiling face. um, I mean, ultimately, like it's just this wonderful community that the families and the kids all get to be a part of. And it's so fun to see that sense of achievement on their faces when they initially start shooting at a much lower hoop and then they can actually make that basket
Hmm.
during a practice scrimmage, right? We're gonna see that
Right?
this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah. It's just really
Awesome.
cool to be able to travel with the team and um gosh, sports are so powerful and
Hmm.
so to be able to bring this to kids like Kaden, we love to do it and we're looking forward to doing it more.
Awesome. Well, Michelle and Kaden, thank you so much for joining us on the live stream. Molly, thank you so much too. And to all our people watching, if you'd like more information about wheelchair and adaptive sports, you can go to maryfreebed.com/sports. Thanks for watching and stay well.